Breaking news. Welcome to today's headlines. Fear as Islamic group tackles Pastor Oyedepo, asks Tinubu government withdraw his Airstrip license. To my dear listeners, you all have been wondering why the Islamic group would tackle a popular pastor, a person of Pastor Oyedepo. Okay, before I go into details, good evening from wherever you're listening from, and please do ensure you like, subscribe, and share. Now the details. The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, NSCRA, has voiced strong opposition to the private Airstrip license granted to Living Faith Church Worldwide, commonly known as Winners Chapel, which was established by Bishop David Oyedepo. The council's position was made public through a PÁñIC following their 10th meeting on December 1, 2024, held at the National Mosque in Abuja, attended by various Muslim leaders, government officials, and security representatives. Though the PÁñIC did not explicitly name Bishop Oyedepo, it criticized the issuance of the Airstrip permit, labeling it as an anomaly. The NSCRA called for the immediate revocation of the license, describing it as an aberration of the highest order that poses potential threat to the peace and security of the nation. This statement reflects the Council's concerns regarding the implications of granting such permit to religious leaders. The decision has sparked a range of reactions among the public. One individual expressed frustration, suggesting that the criticism stems from a place of envy and bitterness towards Oyedepo, emphasizing that similar private airstrips exist in other countries, such as the United States, without controversy. The person characterized the council's actions as a manifestation of an evil generation, targeting those they perceive as children of light. Another commentator questioned the rationale behind the opposition, arguing that airstrips should be viewed as a component of development and that any individual meeting the requirement should be eligible for a license. This perspective criticized the intertwining of religious sentiment with legitimate right, suggesting that entitlement to development should not be contingent upon religious affiliation. The discourse surrounding this issue reveals deep-seated tensions and differing viewpoints on the intersection of religion development and governance in Nigeria. To my dear listeners, now before I go, now we've come to the end of our today's news, and before I contribute to the news, to my dear listeners, what are your thoughts and reactions to this? Because in contribution to the news that I have read now, personally, I see nothing other than hatred towards this pastor. Because initially I see nothing wrong when the pastor has a private airstrips, but personally I feel once it's up to the standard, in as much he's not doing anything illegal, then he deserves to use the private airstrips, at least to avoid, one thing about we people is we can be embarrassing at times. If the popular pastor is entering into a commercial airplane traveling around, the way people would actually see it would be a different thing. And one thing about we Nigerians is when we see people doing well, there's something about these Muslims people that I don't like. They are the set of the people that backbite the most. And I see nothing other than hatred towards this man. It is not supposed to be. I think what is technology has evolved around us, and we are not in the past. We are not in the past that we should use our mentality. We should use our sense whenever we want to attack people. In as much this man is not doing anything legal, at least it can be reviewed. It can be reviewed, and everything is doing a legal thing. Aside the work God has ordained him to do. So personally, I would say that I see nothing other than hatred for this man. And now that they were talking about the private airstrips or whatever, what about this man? What about his personal giving that he does? He gives to people, and it creates a lot of things that people can benefit from it. So why hate? And that's one of the reasons why we won't grow in this country, because whenever we've started feeling someone is doing well than us, it is mostly common in this Islamic. I'm not trying to criticize them or something, but mostly they do it the most. And to me personally, it doesn't make sense. What do you think? So to my dear listeners, now we've come to the end of our today's news. Please do drop by the comment section and let us know what your view is all about. Thank you for listening.